Okay, welcome everybody to force velocity profiling for goalkeepers. This is force velocity information from a variety of sources, but most of it from my a previous sprint group I was assistant coach with at the Lee Valley Stadium in London with Martin Newham. I've got a few other sources in here as well. This is a link to JB Morin's force velocity profile tutorial on how to do that. I will stick that on my website, and of course you can gain access to the papers. The graph on the right hand side is Google Data Studio, and this is to monitor match power, goalkeeper match power, and we can do that over the days, over the weeks, and over the months. And we can also adapt this for pre and post training. We can measure freshness, we can measure fatigue, we can look at the intensity, we can look at training loads, and we can see how the goalkeeper power develops over time. And this can inform coaches about training content, within the sessions and how that can affect power output. Other papers that I've read in regards to the physical aspects of goalkeeping. There's not a lot of information out there, particularly on force velocity profiling, hardly anything. I think there was one study I found in a French league, 4th division, with 9 goalkeepers. But yeah, there's a really shortage of information. But what I have found is that elite goalkeepers are like elite level sprinters and jumpers. And the upper body is similar to a rugby player and a shot put thrower. So absolutely 100% power athletes, and they should be trained so. Goalkeeper velocity profiles are more orientated towards speed than force, which is strength. So I can use the profiles, the descriptives, the training menus, and the approaches that I've used with sprinters, elite level sprinters and power athletes. And also we can also remember as well that goalkeepers are a bit of a weight category sport as well, because they need to have an optimum weight. And also as well, by monitoring power, we can spot drop-offs if we're consistently doing it. We can also ask the questions regarding sleep, stress, nutrition, and any other variables to see what's affecting the program. And we can look at the intensity of high and low days, but also recoverability as well. We've got a graph at the bottom. This is just embedded from Google Data Studio, and we can look at explosive distance. These are all the goalkeepers. So if I say, for example, just wanted to look at goalkeeper number 2, and this is all of the explosive distance dives, etc., from goalkeeper number 2. These are all training weeks. If I just wanted to look at a couple of weeks, I can just filter that on. It's going to bring up the weeks that I wanted to look at and all of the metrics. I can then drill down because I've added in additional ones. So at the bottom, this is times average time since last time to goalkeeper name. I can drill up. And I can also look at if I just wanted to look at dives left, it would just sort this as well. I can just reset that. Okay, so I'm going to look at some descriptives here. So depending on your results, whether you've got a major speed deficit or a minor one, or a major strength deficit or a minor strength deficit, again, these are just guides, and these are the qualities that you would need to develop, or whether you had a balanced profile, which means you just need to have a look at a little bit of everything. So qualities developed, if you had a strength deficit, would be strength, and speed. If you were balanced, then strength, and speed. If you had a speed deficit, this is what you would need in the application of force. Training to optimize velocity profiles. If you had a force Strength dominant profile, training loads between 25 and 100%. If you had a speed dominant profile, training loads with less than 25% is going to lead to a speed velocity dominant profile. And force velocity imbalance is calculated as a difference between the actual force velocity profile and the theoretical. And these are VBT suggested velocity training zones here at the bottom. Okay, if you wanted to optimize your speed profile, so if you had a major speed deficit, qualities developed, minor speed deficit, these are the qualities developed. Balanced profile is a little bit of everything. This is strength profiles, so training to optimize strength. If you've got a major force strength deficit, which is less than 60%, these are the qualities developed. Of course, there's a much more emphasis on strength. If you've got a minor strength deficit, then the emphasis switches then towards more speed. And then if you've got a balanced profile, then these are the qualities that you need to develop, but you work on all of the above at the same time. So it's just a little bit of everything. And then the training approaches. Here are just some suggested training load percentages, some exercises here, some strength, power, speed, depending on your focus and where you are regarding your results. A maximum roller push-up, this is just a little bit of overspeed in here. And then of course there should be a comma there with the counter movement jump with arms. And of course, with this power stuff, critical for goalkeepers, Olympic weightlifting for the ankle plantar flexion that we need in the contralateral dives, and also as well for hip power starting that movement. And go along here. Training approaches. So we had a look at this. So we're just going to have a little look at, this is the snapshot of training menus to develop speed. And this is with velocity-based training PBT guidance, and also rep max guidance here as well. So if you had a minor speed deficit, this is your focus, this is your emphasis. These are the exercises here. This is overspeed, so assisted kettlebell swings with elastic band. This is all overspeed work. And you've got some plyos here for speed strength. And then, yeah, you've got some jumps here, assisted jumps. If you've got a major speed deficit, so the emphasis is on 3 speed, 2 power, 1 speed, then to level up, if you have a major speed deficit, then you time your exercises. And by timing your exercises, you can really make it competitive. You get instant feedback. You can quantify the results. It adds intensity. It can drive better performances in training. And you can make adjustments immediately, depending on what you see, what you're measuring. And of course, player feedback is important as well. And again, this overspeed in here, you've got different levels of plyos. Multiple response exercises in here as well. And then this graph at the bottom, what I mentioned earlier, is this pre and post training, looking at power. And we can add in any metric here. And again, it can be over time, over the weeks, and over the months. Yeah. So we can measure power using force plates, contact mats, depending on what tools you have. So after they've done their activation, before they go out onto the pitch, this can be completed prior to when they're doing that. So they can just do a couple of jumps, and you can decide on the frequency. This will depend on the setting that you're in, if this is actually going to be possible. It's going to depend on your team culture and the leadership. And this is just to get an idea of the drop-off of power in training. And of course, we want to train speed first because it's one of the hardest components to train and of course to do repeated explosive movements. And it's easier to put endurance on it because we always need a speed level to begin with, a decent level. And in pre-season, if you don't work on speed at the start, then you can easily run out of time to try and develop it. So we should be working on speed all year round. And we can go short to long, you know, working on acceleration, that 3-step quickness, that first movements into the 6-yard box, and then we can just step out and make those distances longer. We can work towards max speed. We can work on the distances relevant for goalkeepers. And we need to inch that out and creep that out because we need soft tissue to be able to adapt. So if we start to rack up and we go for broke with longer distances to speed, then we'll just pick up soft tissue injuries. So we just start off short and then we go to long. And this is just going to mirror your position games, your possession and the games, where the intensity and the speed percentage is really small. And then you're using big possession, and then you work towards more intense games, more small-sided games, the higher intensities. And again, they're just the proportion changes. These are strength deficit menus. And again, with suggested training loads, depending on where the focus is. And again, plyometrics for strength speed, single leg work, double leg work, whether you've got a balance profile here. And then these are just menus for well, exercising and training loads for each exercise, again, depending on the focus, to target the force velocity spectrum here. Again, these are just suggested guides. And we've got major force deficit guides, minor ones here. And again, these are just suggested exercises and rep ranges. Whether you've got a balance profile, which is in the green. Whether they've got a low velocity deficit, whether they've got a high one. And again, this is overspeed work here. And then this is a chrono jump training protocol, depending on whether you use Bosco encoders or whether you've got Muscle Lab, depends on what the kit you have. These are plyometric progressions, force velocity progressions with low speed, with high speed, then low strength, with high force strength deficits here, and the coupling times. And this is the coupling time is just the time in between the eccentric and the concentric action. It's that moment in between. I'm going to go into more of that, or I've gone into more of that in regards to my plyometric section. And these are just some of the descriptives here, because force velocity programming can be really heavy going, just to get used to the language. And so here, this is the maximum mechanical power output in a horizontal direction, the theoretical maximal horizontal force, theoretical maximum running velocity. Again, just some descriptives here. Okay, the decrease in rate of force. So that's the index of the effectiveness of force applied onto the ground. What the implications are, what you find. Development of acceleration. Development of maximum speed. So of course this correlates with high max power. And maximum velocity can be developed using light loads and speed work. Here again are just some suggested work for plyometrics, for developing reactive ability, explosive strength, how to interpret these. And again, just some suggested VBT guidelines here. And this is the elasticity index as well. This is a little bit of guidance on what you need to work on in regards to the implications. So I just use this and it's on I've got a bigger database of it, and I just pull out the relevant bits that I need. And I try and keep it as simple as possible, although this doesn't look simple, but you know, you just need to take it a little bit at a time. And then this is overspeed work with some ballistics, there's power in here, there's some resistance training. And so overspeed is this relaxation component. So basically, I'll explain it again. So if you have a bicycle or a push bike and you push on the pedals really, really, really hard, and then you coast and you relax, that is overspeed, that section, it's that relaxation section. So this is really important for goalkeepers because they're creating that pre-tension, and then they need to go for dives, or they need to do this for explosive actions. And we can marry up this overspeed relaxation work with slow eccentric work, because if we just do the slow eccentric stuff, then we're going to lose this speed component, and we can't afford to do it. So the way to do it and to keep the speed in is to marry up these exercises. So you can do your slow eccentric stuff, but you can then bolt on your speed stuff and your overspeed work or any kind of explosive work. And more importantly, this really works. I mean, I've consistently improved the speed of players week in and week out just by speed monitoring. And you know, yes, if you apply it, if you do it regularly, then you will get your goalkeepers really more explosive, more and much faster, and also your outfield as well. Here again, here are just some descriptives. And then very simply, blocks of eccentric training combined with overspeed leads to an increase in speed. And this is going to aid more of the force side of the force velocity profile. And then, for example, velocity training, I mean, this is the strength bit. Blocks featuring strength, overspeed, and assisted exercises are going to increase speed and likely to aid the speed side of a force velocity profile. And then you've got some power stuff here. So depending on what you want to work on, what the players, the goalkeepers need. And again, this is your slow eccentric work, but then married up with the overspeed to improve contraction velocity, maximal power, increase fast fiber percentage. So you can see how, if you watched in my exercise program videos, how I'm using some of this stuff to improve goalkeepers. These are exercises to improve explosive strength. And here we've just got some more guidance again in regards to explosive ballistic strength progressions. And these are like plyos, multi-impact plyos. You saw my plyometric section. I've just made the easier infographics to look at. So the combined plyo is using weights as well as jumps or any other kind of assistance tool. And then here we've got multi-impact long plyo, got reactive jumps. If I just go along, got some hurdle hops in here as well. And then this guide here is just, we've got the muscle groups here, we've got the anatomical adaptation. And then, yeah, a bit of contrast stuff, reflex training, max strength. And these are all just guidance about this stuff works. And as you can see, 100-meter sprint training is highly, highly specialized, along with, just as the same, goalkeeper training, highly technical, highly specialized. There's a lot to learn if you want to make people fast. And we have got some, just some Olympic exercises in here as well. And this is like the Franz Bosch stuff with the single leg cleans with pre-tension, flex extension exercises. I've used this for that 3-step quickness, depending on what players need and goalkeepers need. If they want to work on that acceleration, that 3-step quickness, 60-yard stop in the box. And then this is a hamstring strength progression. This is very, very good. If you want to get your goalkeeper's hamstrings really, really strong, any outfield, you can start off with simple bridging positions. You can vary this. I just started all of my programs out with simple bridging positions to begin with. So 2 feet, if you've got players where this is a real area of focus, where if they've got loads of muscle shake and muscle tremor, that means that the signal going from the brain to the muscle isn't great, and there's a massive, there's a strength deficit there. So you need to clean up that signal. And then you can progress it to single leg. You can use a variety of durations, short to begin with, and then you can make them longer. And then you can level it up. And if you saw my exercise videos with a glute ham raise machine, then you can use that. So that's the next level up. You can use weight plates, you can use barbells, you can get manual resistance in there, pushing the body, pushing the hips, creating that torque where they have to push their feet into the plate, they have to screw their feet into the plate, they have to push their hips into the pad. We can do a variety of different levels of holds. We can do plate rotations to get the semi-hamstrings in there. Different angles again, different reps, single leg work. And this really, really works. This really works. This is great. And also you get the glutes in there, lower back and your calves. There we go. So that is the end of force velocity profiling for goalkeepers. Have a go, have a look at some videos, and just get yourself started. And also as well, to simply do some power testing, you can have a look at that trolley overspeed in the exercise videos to do. That's a really simple way of looking at explosive power and then getting immediate feedback if you don't have any of these kind of tools. Okay, so the next video is going to be exercise videos for programming, and then of course the videos as well. This is a little bit of injuries reduction, and then of course this is the overspeed stuff that I've been talking about. So I might have jumped the gun there in my force velocity profiling. This is what overspeed trolley pushes are here. So if you want to look at the next video, then that would be great if you can join us. Okay. Force velocity profiling is done.